It's the Sunday nighter between New England and San Diego, a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game. Jason Horowitz, CBS Sports' Charley Casserly, glad to be with you on the NFL previews presented by Comcast as we break it down. And Charley, we'll get to New England in a sec because nobody thought they'd be in this position and kind of be an afterthought right now, but that's obvious with Tom Brady. San Diego, this seems like very desperate times for the Chargers right now.
Well, it is because, first of all, they didn't expect to be in this position. New England is a good football team that knows how to win on the road, and their schedule coming up. They go to Buffalo, then they got to go to London to play New Orleans. They got a lot of trips coming up. That's going to wear on them.
The Chargers, that is.
Yes, that's right.
So this is a must-win game because if you're 2-4, then you go to Buffalo, then straight from Buffalo you go to London. You're talking about possibly being 2-6 at the halfway point.
You can't have that. And this is a team that a lot of people felt was going to be in the Super Bowl this year for the AFC.
What's the biggest problem? Is it injuries to Tomlinson and Gates?
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. First of all, defensively, they haven't been able to stop people, and I think Jamal Williams at nose tackle has not been as good a player as he's been in the past. I think that, inside linebacker, that position has not played as well there. So, and they lose Sean Merriman. So you got a lot of moving parts there you were counting on. You take one player, two players, three players, that has a major effect on your defense. Over on offense, LT. About now is when he starts exploding. He has not done that. He's not been 100%. So I think that, physically, that's hurt him. Antonio Gates has not been 100%. They've still moved the ball effectively in the air and thrown it, but all you have to do is be a little bit off in a couple areas, which we just talked about, and it's going to affect you.
So in this game, is it a game that's going to fall on the shoulders of Phillip Rivers to say, go beat the New England secondary?
I think he's going to have to come up big in this game. And so far this year, he's had an excellent year. And here's the thing. New England's secondary statistically ranks in the top 10. To me, they're not that good. They are a vulnerable secondary. They're not that good. What they're going to do is try to mix up their coverages to confuse Phillip Rivers. They were able to effectively do that against a young quarterback, J.T. O'Sullivan, last week. They should not have that same success against a young veteran like Phillip Rivers.
Who's playing, as you said, very, very well this season. Now, the other part to this, as you're talking about New England, let's go to them offensively. Off the bye, Matt Cassel to Randy Moss. They finally were able to hook up. Is that something you're expecting again this week?
Yeah, I think what you got to do with Randy Moss is you got to be, early in the year, I didn't think he was as effective. To me, he didn't look 100%, especially in that opening game. But what did they do last week? They hit one big play to him, a touchdown, maybe the biggest play in the game. You're going to run this guy deep a couple times, and you got to take the shots. Hey, what happened last year, late in the year? People began to double him and stopped him from making those big plays. That's what San Diego's got to do, because if I'm New England, I got to take 3 or 4 shots down the field with this guy. Now, New England's formula, they ran the ball over 40 times last week, only 3.3 a game. Not very good, but the point is they committed to the run. They kept their defense off the field. Matt Cassel, okay, and we're going to see here a graphic on him. Overall, not that impressive. The completion percentage is good, but that's a lot of the short passes in there. Last week, 2 interceptions, 5 sacks. He holds the ball. So San Diego's got to come with pressure, which they didn't do early in the year, but have started later, to get the sacks and get the turnovers from Matt Cassel.
But they couldn't get off the field last week, San Diego, against Miami. They could not get off the field. It seemed like the Dolphins were on the entire game. New England, with that short dink and dunk with the commit to run, is that going to happen again this week?
Well, that's what New England's going to try. Last week we talked about 41 rushes, okay, and the short passing game, which they're very effective with. That's going to be their formula. And what San Diego had trouble stopping this year, they can't stop the run. Why? Jamal Williams hasn't been as effective. Sean Merriman's not in there. The inside linebacker position hasn't good. This is a good matchup for New England to control the clock.
All right, let's take a look at the AccuScore prediction, because I think it's going to surprise you. 10,000 tests, 10,000 results, and look at that, 65%. The Chargers are 2-3. The Patriots are 3-2. But in the mathematical, statistical mind, I guess, to the computer, it seems like the Patriots are an afterthought. I would think that the Patriots are the better team right now.
Well, they certainly have an excellent chance to win for the things we talked about. They can run the ball, they can control the clock, hit Randy Moss in a couple of plays. But I'm going to go with San Diego here. Why? The team that is more desperate a lot of times finds a way to win. Now, what are they going to? Matt Cassel, to me, still hasn't proved he can be consistent week in and week out. I think you've got to stop Randy Moss. Basically, double cover Randy Moss. I think they'll do that, make everybody else beat you. And Phillip Rivers against the secondary in New England, that's a big edge to me. I think they'll be able to make some plays in the passing game. and take away Randy Moss. They might give up time of possession, but I think they'll make enough plays in the passing game to win this.
We'll see how it all plays out. It's the Sunday nighter, an 8:15 p.m. Eastern start. For more on this one or any other in Week 6, be sure to stay with CBSSports.com. Watch everything else on the CBS Audience Network. For Charley Casserly, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.